Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and today we're back with another episode of Wonderkid to Superstars, the series where we take a Wonderkid within FM21, simulate them until they're fully grown at their full potential to see the kind of player that you guys could pick up, and the aim is always to try and bring you guys a bargain that you could potentially sign in your saves, and possibly one that you might not be aware of, and I think today could be exactly that. Today we're going to be looking at a midfielder from Russia. He can play in central midfield and attacking midfield, and he doesn't cost all that much. But before we get into looking at him, as always, I'd just like to ask you guys, if you do enjoy this kind of content, if you just want to help us out, then please hit that like button. It helps spread these videos out to more people, and trust me, it really does go a long way in helping these videos perform well. And also drop a comment down below who you'd like to see in the next episode of Wonderkid to Superstar. We are of course aware that FM21 is starting to die out now as the hype begins to build soon for FM22. However, we'll still keep making these videos as long as possible, so let us know who you'd like to see next. Is there a Wonderkid that you found in your saves who isn't talked about often enough? We can have a look at them and see how they pan out. And finally, if you haven't already, then hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And with that being said, let's get straight into looking at this player, who I think represents really good value for money. So if you couldn't tell already, we're in the Russian Premier League. We're going to be looking for Dynamo Moscow, and in their under 18s team, I think it is, or under 21s, I think it's under 18s, you will find a player called Arsene Zakarian. So yes, as you can see, we've brought him over to Lille, who are of course the current Ligue 1 champions in real life. Now if you want to see me managing Lille, then feel free to check out my channel, linked in the description. We've had a lot of people come over from the FMSCOUT channel and say they've really enjoyed the series, so if you want to come check out that, then feel free, as we make a push for 2,500 subscribers. We've recently surpassed 2,400, so if we can get there soon, then that would be great. But yes, Arsene Zakarian, 17 years of age. I'm going to show you his potential range in the bottom left corner now, so if you don't want to see that, you don't want it spoiled, look away. But as you can see, he can grow into quite a good player, and even if he wasn't on the higher end of that range, if you got him on the lower end, he's still going to represent a good deal in terms of what you can get him for at the start of this save. So at the start of the save, his potential is at the highest end of its range, and then even in that case, Dynamo Moscow only wanted £3 million for him. That could vary in your guys' save, but I assume less than £5 million every time, depending on how you bargain it. But yeah, attribute-wise, physically, a bit of an all-rounder, nothing too stand out. He's not the quickest, not the strongest, nothing like that, but he's not really lacking in too many areas, and of course he's 17. These physicals are really going to improve over time. Mentally, he's got some decent attributes. For example, determination is at a high enough level that it should be good enough for him to grow into a nice player. Vision as well, and then his technicals, he's got dribbling, finishing, first touch, free kicks and long shots as some of his better ones. However, things like passing, technique really need some improvement, but you will see that throughout his development. So as I said, we've put him on the higher end of his potential range. We're going to be training him on double intensity for the whole time. We're going to be using him all the time in that attacking midfield position as a shadow striker. We're focusing on the final third right now, but we will change that additional focus as the season goes on. And of course, we are mentoring him too with some of the better players at Lille here. For example, Jose Font will be mentoring this guy to try and make him into a better player. And we're going to simulate 5 years until he's 21. So I'll see you in 2 years' time, where we can get the first look at him after a little bit of growth and what you guys might expect if you were to bring him in and maybe loan him out or use him or put him in your youth team. Okay guys, here we are 2 years in of holidaying, and Arsene Zakarian is appearing as a top assister for Lille this season, a Lille team that came 4th in Ligue 1 on 78 points. And overall, they've done pretty well. And I'll just say this because I will get a lot of comments about it. If you can't find him in your save, chances are you don't have a Russian league loaded, or you don't have a large database set. So if he doesn't appear in your save, it's probably down to the database that you have picked. But here we go, Arsene Zakarian. How has he developed after 2 years? Well, we can see he's came on leaps and bounds. Yes, he's still not the world's best player, but he has developed much more into a player that we can really see growing into someone who could potentially be a star. As I did mention would happen, his star rating has completely changed, so as you can see, you can't take too much notice of that. But he's got very high potential and is currently a pretty decent squad player apparently. Physically, he's got some nice physical attributes now. His strength has gone up and his pace, acceleration and all that has gone up to a point where he's on the brink of being pretty quick. He's now fairly average in terms of all his attributes. 15s are definitely good enough for a midfielder and an attacking midfielder. But of course we will be happy if that goes up a little more. Mentally, we can see the work that we did on the final third has really helped him with his decision making and his composure, now two of his strongest attributes, which should really help him in that shadow striker role. Vision, work rate and teamwork at a decent level, as well as his flair and determination. His technicals have gone up a little bit, and I think that's what we're going to work on in his next few years in this simulation, because his passing, vision and technique probably need a bit of work should we use him in these attacking midfield positions, or even if we're using him in the centre of midfield, where you can see he is also a pretty decent option as an advanced playmaker, deep line playmaker. Mazzala, the reason I didn't use him in that position is because he's really not a tackler, and I think in a 4-2-3-1 you need the two central midfielders to at least put in a little bit of defensive work. So yeah, Arsene Zakarian, as I did mention just then, we are using a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress preset, nothing special being used. I just switched the attacking midfielder to a shadow striker and changed the two central midfielders to a deep line playmaker on defence and a box-to-box midfielder. Nothing crazy was done there, it's just a preset, and if you want to see which of the presets do work better, feel free to check out the video that was on our channel a few days ago, a very good video about which preset is the best in FM21. So I guess now we want to see how Arsene did do in his first 2 seasons. Of course, you probably wouldn't be playing him at a level this high straight away. It's just for the purpose of a simulation that we put him straight into the first team. Also, apologies if I am pronouncing his name wrong. I believe I'm getting it right, but Arsene Zakarian is what I'm going for here. I'm not Russian, I don't know how to speak Russian, but I think I've got that down. So, first season he played 19 games, he must have got an injury or something, scored 6 goals, 1 assist and 1 player of the match. Bear in mind at this point, he was that 17-year-old that just didn't really look good at all, to be honest. He didn't really have enough redeeming traits to be a starter in Ligue 1, particularly for a team as good as Lille. However, he's done pretty well, 7 average match rating, and in the next season he's really topped that up with 9 goals in 38 appearances, and this time adding a lot more assists to his game. His role wasn't changed or anything, so I imagine the little bit of work we have done on his decision making and passing has really helped him in that area. 2 player of the match awards and a 7.02 average match rating. As you can see, he's not going to be the best 19-year-old in the world right now. He's got a bit of room to push on, but he still has a lot of room to grow. He's got a lot of that potential still to fill, and I'm really excited to see what he can do in this simulation. So now we're heading over to the last part of the video where we look at him at full growth in a few more years' time to see how he's got on in 5 seasons at Lille. Okay guys, here we are, 2025, 5 years into this simulation. Arsene is not appearing in any of these positions as the best player in any certain area. However, Lille's team has done pretty well on 90 points, second in the league, and we can see he has developed a hell of a lot now and is a very, very good player. £53 million valued at. If Lille were to sell him, you can assume they're going to get £70-80 million for this guy minimum, and they invested £3 million. So this is him, what he could potentially look like in your save if you got him at the maximum potential, and I don't think anyone can have any complaints about this guy. 22 years old, 17 appearances made for the Russian national team with 2 goals. Now classed as an important player at Lille, £43,000 a week. Star rating is, of course, compared to other players at the club, but according to this, the coaches seem to rate him as one of the best, if not the best players at the club, with a 4.5 star current ability. He's a cultured attacking midfielder who runs with the ball through the centre, right-footed, physically. He is pretty immense now, to be honest, for an attacking midfielder. Apparently a very good central midfielder deep line playmaker with his passing that we've worked on. However, we have been using him in the shadow striker role, which I think he suits perfectly. Acceleration at a very good level, as well as the other speed attributes. Balance and agility doing quite well, and strength, stamina and jumping reach, nothing that you can really complain about. It's not the best, but with them other physical attributes, I think we've done pretty well there. Mentally, he has also developed a hell of a lot. His composure and decision making are now 2 of his strongest attributes. Concentration, anticipation, determination, flair, leadership, off the ball, teamwork, vision particularly. I hadn't actually saw this yet, but vision is at 19. His work rate is also at 13, his technique at 16, passing at 17, first touch at 16, finishing at a good level, dribbling at a good level, and he can do the set pieces too, as well as hit a decent long shot. So, of course, this might not be what he looks like in your saves because of the way that we've trained him. We focused on these 2 attributes specifically with the final third individual training for the first 2 years, and then as we could see, his passing wasn't great, so I worked on that for the last 3 years, and it's really improved his vision, technique and passing to make him probably one of the best creative passers in the game. And if we actually used him as an advanced playmaker, I'm sure that vision would come into play a little bit more. As I did say, we've been using him as a shadow striker, so we'll have a look at how he's done in the last 5 years for Lille. However, let's first look at his attribute growth in the last couple of years, so we can see that he's had a lot of improvement in these areas that we did focus on, the passing area. And his physicals have improved quite a lot too, as well as his mentals. It's been some great growth for this guy, and if we go to all time, he's had plenty of development, particularly it seems in the mental areas, and of course it's in the ones that we really focused in on. So he's done really well, but how has he done in game? And we can see he has been very, very effective for Lille in the last few years as he started to become a much better, much more usable player. So we last saw him around here where he just became a player that you think, yeah, he would actually maybe fit into Lille's team if I wasn't even forcing him in there. and since then he's just done great. In his last 3 seasons, he's hit over 10 goals, a 13, a 12 and an 11, played every single game the last 3 seasons. Of course, we've forced him to do that, so thankfully he hasn't picked up too many injuries, it seems, at least in the league games. Assist-wise, it's gone down a little bit, but still very good amount of goal contributions with 7, 5 and 6 in the last 3 seasons. Player of the Match awards have gone up considerably, and he's hit around 7.2 in the last 3 seasons, a 7.15, a 7.19 and a 7.17. Yes, he could have done better. Yes, he's not playing in the world's best league, but I think for £3 million for a player that I think a lot of people will have a variation at least of the Russian leagues loaded, whether it's just the top division or some of the others. So I think he will be in many people's saves, and I think he's someone that we're going to see quite a lot in real life too. But as you can see, his value has skyrocketed. Finally, I think we should just look at to see if he's won any individual awards. I believe PSG dominated the league, so I can't imagine he's won many competitions. As you can see, nothing really there in terms of competitions, but that's not down to him all that much. However, has he won any individual awards, any next gen awards or anything like that, Golden Boys, whatever it may be? Seems like he's been in a lot of Team of the Weeks. 22-23, he did win the next gen award, so fair play to him there. He's gone and won that. He beat the likes of Jude Bellingham and Youssoufa Moukoko in that year, so he's done pretty well in those areas. I don't believe he's won too much else. Goal of the month apparently, so he must have scored a decent goal. But overall, he's just been a very consistently good player in Ligue 1 and would definitely be a good player for any of the top 5 leagues if you can get your hands on him. Whether he does develop into this kind of world beater that we can see here, or whether he just develops into the lower end of his potential in your guys' saves, I think he's definitely worth an investment of under £5 million. I have been asking you guys recently to rate the players out of 10, so if you want to do that in the comments, and feel free, take into account his value, the growth that he has had, and obviously his starting attributes. I think that is probably his biggest downfall, is what he starts at, because he doesn't really look all that usable at the start, so you might have to put him in your youth team before you can really get any good results out of this guy. But that is Arsene Zakarian. He has been today's focus in the newest episode of Wonderkid to Superstar. Let us know in the comments who you'd like to see next. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to come check out my channel, linked in the description. Thank you guys for all the support recently, and hopefully you did enjoy today's video. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Goodbye.